Tim Collins and Mason here. We are here to speak with Vision Marine. I want to start off with this, the engine. Tell us a little bit about it.
It's a 180 horsepower fully electric. It's hooked to 2 lithium batteries of 35 kilowatt each. System comes with a smart aircraft application, so it's a copy, or it looks like a Tesla dashboard. You can play the radio, you have all the functions of the motor, the state of charge, and you also have that information on your cell phone. So the motor is actually very quiet, smokeless, and the cost of maintenance is reduced by 90% because we've got less moving parts. We don't have the exhaust, we don't have the reverse gear system. The motor is lighter than the regular 175 horsepower outboard.
So let's stop there for a minute. When you're talking about it being lighter, quieter, we're comparing it to an internal combustion.
Correct.
Okay, I'm not a boater. I'm not much of a motor guy either. So why does this matter to me? Why do I care about the height, exhaust, maintenance? Tell me about all that.
Boating is a family and a social activity. So you want to talk, you want to eat, you want to enjoy the water, you want to do some tubing in the back of a boat. So if you're tubing and you're receiving all the fumes and you want to have a discussion like we have today, you have to yell. So that's why some of the people are adding crazy sound systems. You'll feel today when you're in a boat, it's how cool is it to enjoy the scenery, the quietness of the water and having a good time with the family. These little things are adding on when you're a boater. That nautical experience, it's increased from another level. And the fact also that you just have to plug your system arriving at home on a regular shore power. You don't have to search for a marina to refuel your system. That's another thing that helps customers loving the system. It doesn't need any special infrastructures. It's a regular shore power. Today, you're going to see the boat that we have in the water is hooked to the same shore power as our neighbor who are gas and ice engine outboards.
So can I just pull my boat into the driveway and plug it right in at home?
Correct.
Oh, that's fantastic. So
now, how long does it take to recharge?
6 hours.
And how long am I going to get to stay on the lake?
About 50 nautical miles. That's the people on a boat, depending on how many passengers we have, the condition, are doing about, the average boater does about 9 nautical miles in a day because they take the boat out, they drop the anchor, they swim around, they do a bit of ski or tubing. You have plenty range with the system that we're offering. That's why we're giving you 2 batteries with the system. We're not giving them, it's included in the system. And we created those batteries in conjunction with Octillion because after testing third-party boats, it was smart for us to use the same size of a fuel tank. So any company who builds V-boat hulls or pontoons or catamarans could instead, using the space for the battery, the fuel tank, they could install our batteries. You can add, it comes with 2, but you can add a third one if you want to have a range extender, a bigger, a longer range than your fuel tank.
Is it safe on the water to have those batteries?
It's safer than your regular 12-volt battery that you have in your ice engine outboards. The system that you're going to see today on the water, you unplug one connections and the system will shut down. It's very safe. It's IP67 and IP69. We're meeting the requirement of the car industry of safety matter, and it doesn't exist in the boating industry.
I want to go back to Octillion.
Yes.
So, I'm not a motor guy, I'm not a battery guy. Why is Octillion important? I've heard you guys talk about that.
Based in the US, Octillion is producing 1,500 batteries a day since how many years, Mr. Gain? 20 years.
Okay.
And we were using their batteries and technology in a different casing size, but same technology. This is how we were able to push our Bruce 22 at 49 miles per hour at the Ozark, and we got the world's fastest electric production boat with those batteries. But the packaging was too huge to put in all the boats that we have to rig from third party. So we asked Octillion, you know what, please package something that looks like a fuel tank, and we're gonna be able to sell much more system to the overall industry. And the overall industry is huge, huh, guys?
So if we're talking in US, so is supply chain not as big an issue for this?
Supply chain is a huge issue.
Is it a huge issue for you guys still?
Huge issue if you're a car, trucker, or boat manufacturer.
Is there anything you can do to help massage it?
Yes, and we've done that. We have a joint development agreement with Octillion. Octillion, as Alex had mentioned, they've been around a long time. To date, all of the batteries that you see in any electric boat globally uses either an aircraft, automotive, or industrial battery. This is specifically manufactured by Octillion for marine use, and we have exclusive usage of that battery. in order to secure a supply chain, you need to have access to your battery. You can't sell an outboard system, a powertrain system, with no battery. So this ensures that we will have a battery supply as when we start to deliver these systems early next year.
Did you say exclusive, so nobody else?
Exclusive.
Wow.
Tooling, sizing, connection, software, safety software, everything's ours.
Okay, there's a lot of stuff. I'm gonna hold this up here, see if the camera can get this okay. So we got the motor.
Yeah.
For an uneducated guy like me in boats, this to me is everything. So tell me about what all this stuff is behind it. I know that's the batteries right here.
Yes.
What's the rest of it matter?
This is everything. That's the battery. We're gonna start with the motor. You got the motor. You got the pump that takes the water to cool our system. So like a regular ice engine outboard, you have a cooling system. We have our computers who are managing the charging system. Charging system goes to a 12-volt batteries. 12-volt batteries give you energy for all the little pumps, screen, radio.
12 volts. So if this
12
thing
volt.
here dies, I can still call for help.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. Oh,
Yes,
that's
yes. And if one dies, you're still good with the other one.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
Yes, you don't need both of them. You can run on one if you want.
And on this screen, you will know when you're running low.
Yes.
The screen
Okay.
will alert
Yes.
you. Nobody
Okay.
has that now.
We'll finish with the screen. So then you got your 12-volt batteries, you got the PDUs, the power distribution box. So this is where the power is distributed for the accessories of 12-volt and high voltage.
Okay.
So, and the big batteries, or 35 kilowatt each, 700 volt, is providing energy to that battery as well. So that little battery that gives you the 12-volt information on your screen will never die.
Okay.
You got your throttle that gives you the command of your motor.
Okay.
And we have a computer that gives all the information. So at 20 miles per hour, the screen gives you the range on that screen. If at 30 miles per hour, it goes smaller. At 6 miles per hour, gives you the range at the speed you're going. So you know you can do 40 knots, you can do 40 miles. At 35 miles per hour, you can do 20 miles. So the system is giving you that. It doesn't exist in the boat, in the ice engine outboard world.
Okay.
It's just, we're managing and we're informing our customers like a Tesla or Rivian truck does. You don't see Tesla cars on the highway without batteries because the system tells you where you can go. You see people with their pickup trucks, they're playing with the needles. It doesn't exist anymore in the electric industry.
All right, I want to pivot off the engine. Do you have any more?
But has this been certified by anyone at this point yet?
We're working with the NMMA on a COMTEC,
And who's the NMM?
National Marine Manufacturer Association,
Okay.
where our boats are all U.S. Coast Guard certified, CE certified.
Why does that matter?
All our parts,
The Coast Guard certification.
Coast Guard certification, are for the boats.
Okay.
So a motor from Mercury or Yamaha is not U.S. Coast Guard approved. It's the boat is getting certified. But all the components are CE certified, and they are also IP69 and IP67. These are certification. They can be dropped in the water for 30 minutes, and they still need to be used. They can be used. It doesn't exist in the ice engine industry. So if I'm taking a screen or a display or a throttle, the safety is about 10 times higher on an electric system than your regular ice engine outboard.
Additional certification has been achieved also. We entered into a manufacturing supply agreement with Linamar Corp, which is a very large automotive marine parts and components company in Canada, a $7 billion company.
They're publicly traded,
Yes,
correct?
they are.
It's
They
McLaren.
They own McLaren Engineering.
Wow, okay.
And it used to be part of McLaren Automotive. It's one of the most preeminent, prestigious engineering firms in the world, and we have a supply agreement. They will third-party manufacture under our supervision all our IP. They will manufacture and scale size for us, which was an issue for us with OEMs because our Montreal facility can only accommodate 300 units a year. McLaren can do literally as many as we need, thousands of them.
Okay.
So we don't have that issue with OEMs anymore, but I can assure you McLaren bench tested this before they entered into an agreement with us.
And you mentioned patents. How many patents, IP, do you guys
Let me
currently
answer
hold?
We have chosen not to patent,
Okay.
and a lot of companies do that. We don't want to provide a roadmap for third parties. It's kind of a similar thing where Coca-Cola has not patented their formula. Kentucky Fried Chicken has not patented their recipe. We have proactively decided not to patent.
those little boxes, the software, this is where the protection is. The key of the software. All the software is the algorithm for the keys, the protection, encrypted.
You cannot reverse engineer this.
Okay. Good.
Yep.
I want to move from this to, I want to talk about the your rental operation in Newport.
Yes,
It's a cash flow machine.
yes.
It is.
If Vision Marine takes one of their small boats, costs you, make up a number, X, how many multiples of X are you going to make per year renting it?
Over 4.5.
Is it a good return?
It is. It's extremely good. And it's also a very good way of marketing and educating the market as well. We're receiving over last year with 19 boats, I received more than 13,000 renters. These are families and friends. There are about 6 people per boat. So I was able to bring 100,000 people on our boats last year, and this year we're going to have 35 of them in the water. And that's what we do in Newport Beach. We're working on finalizing the construction of a new rental operation. We signed the lease in September for Florida. We're going to have another 25 boats up there.
In which part of Florida?
Dania Beach.
Dania Beach,
Okay.
the Wave Project. Rental.
High-end development project. in
So
Dania
it seems
Beach.
like a very good cash flow business.
It is.
I mean, largely to fund the growth business.
Yes.
The motor.
Yes.
If I remember right, was it 2020 you did about $1 million or so in Newport, roughly, a little over $1 million?
It's a little
I have to check my number over a little bit over that.
Can you give us a rough idea of how 2021 looked?
Well, we can tell you that, as Alex mentioned, last year we did that with 19 boats. This year we'll have 35. I would say that right now we're on an annualized clip of probably over $4 million a year.
Over $4 million. How is that going to impact your cash flow operation for the whole company for say 2022? How close are we to getting to cash flow positive?
It's very. It actually covers about 75 to 80% of our burn currently. We're very proud of the fact that, as you know, most electric vehicle companies, cars and truck companies, are hemorrhaging cash.
Oh, they're hand over fist.
Hemorrhaging cash.
Yeah.
We are not.
Why?
So, because we have the rental
Is that
operation.
what you attribute it all to?
Yes.
Are you getting any subsidies or anything from the
Yes.
government?
We do. I got over $2 million in 2021 with the government to actually equip third-party boats with our technology. So the agreement that we had, and now we're rigging third-party boats, pontoon, fishing boats from other big OEMs. All of them are here, actually. Government helped me, and it was about the 75% of the cost of the installation. So I was able not to use my own money, but use the help of the government to do the project.
Customers, right? When a customer goes out, I mean, we all know about the subsidies to buy an electric car. Can we do anything with boats?
We're working on that. The City of Montreal is getting very good tax credit on the rental boats that we're building, because we do build boats. So we said the rental operation is something good for us, and we still build about 60, 65 boats a year that generate also some revenue. And we were able to sell a bunch of those boats to rentals operation and boat clubs such as Freedom as well. But the City of Montreal is getting about 50-55% tax credit because they're moving kids and retired people on the St. Lawrence River and the St. Lawrence Seaway as well.
Is there an opportunity to create a franchising model out of this where people, if they wanted to franchise kind of a Vision Marine marina around lakes, operations like that?
That's something that we could consider under certain circumstances. But again, the rental operation that we have, along with the new one that we just announced, there may be more, but these are essentially funding purposes for the electric outboard and powertrain.
It's a lot cheaper to do it that way than go to a bank.
You bet.
So we have to ask, the story is compelling, your balance sheet is compelling, we're seeing cash flow. Any big names kicking the tires?
Can't say.
Few hours.
You know that.
Few hours.
We have to ask.
I'll
Ask.
give you an analogy. If we were an electric truck company, there are a couple of kingmakers that you want to be able to be speaking with. Amazon, big logistics companies, Amazon, UPS, Postal Services globally, DHL, companies like that. You want those logistics companies. Making the analogy to big OEMs, and we only sell to OEMs, big OEMs, we have all the big OEMs, without mentioning specific names, that we are either rigging boats for or plan to, and they will be sea trialed. So we're at a very critical inflection point right now, and I expect this company, hopefully we're sitting here again next year with you gentlemen, and we will probably look very, very different at the same time next year.
We were shaking in. I was shaking in with one of the biggest one a few minutes ago, before when I was giving you T-shirts a few minutes ago. Honestly.
Okay. Okay, let's see. We've covered the boat, the rental unit. We covered the motor. Let's talk about your boats. I need to understand. You make boats.
I had to because this is how everything started. I was building boats and I was trying to achieve good result, but the product on the market was only Torqeedo. I was doing was only a 50 horsepower motor, and the service was bad. The technology was not there. So we started working and thinking out of the box, and we went into business with Mr. Ian Bruce, Olympic designer, and created the laser sailboat. We worked, and it was at first an inboard motor that became at some point following the market as an outboard motor. Same thing as Mercury. They all have inboard motors and outboards, and the market is going to outboards. So, but if you don't have a boat to test your own product, it's finished. And now the fact that I was able to use my relation for the past 20 years in the boating industry, I was able to get pontoons, deck boats, center console boats, different type of boats to test our motors on and get their feedback. And this is what we do now. This is what we're going to do the next, I could say, 60 days. Boats are finishing to be rigged in our shop. Their boats with our motors, and now we're going to be testing them with them. So that's why you need to stay very close with them. So they have their boats, our system, they love it, they have the smile. What's next?
Okay, so you're making boats. Yeah, here's the one. But is it always going to be worth it to make them? I mean, just from a cash flow generation, you make a lot more money if you build a boat, stick your motor on it, put it in the rental pool.
90% of the production is based on the engine, but the engine, keep in mind, it's being assembled by Linamar McLaren in Guelph, Ontario. They have 9,000 employees. So the production on that side doesn't really affect us. The boats, it's easy, it's a turnkey solution, it's running by himself. But the rental operation, yes, it's something that's very good, and we have a new product coming very soon to meet the requirement of the boating, the rentals operation. It's a very ecological product. The first test will be in less than 10 days. I've been working on that project for the past 2 years.
You gonna tell me where it is so I can show up with the camera?
Oh, of course. It's a recycled boat. It's a fully plastic recycled boat, indestructible.
An indestructible boat.
Plastic, recycled, and unsinkable. It's called a Phantom.
So who's the target market? Coast Guard?
Rentals, they could, yes. Rentals operation and water taxi as well. Rentals operation.
Is there anybody in the
I can
EV
say about that?
marine industry that's even close to a 180?
No. And we would love to have Mercury and Yamaha come with something. It's going to be much easier to educate the market. If everyone had something, I wouldn't have to do. I'm educating people for the past 8 years. And what we do with you guys, it's an easy one for me. I'm not sweating. I do that 5 times a day for the past 8 years. So if Mercury was bringing something, they just brought a less than 5 horsepower motor electric, and I asked them, can we partner? I want to use that little motor for my plastic boats. I'm honest, guys. That's the truth. I won't get them before end of 2023. I need motor next week to test the new boats. It doesn't.
Mercury to come out with something like this, they're years away.
2026, 2027.
No one in the industry, none of the large OEMs. When I say none, I'm not speaking euphemistically. None have an electric footprint.
So no pun intended, but there's a nice moat around the 180 engine right now.
Okay, so we're stock guys, right? We write about stocks, cover companies. Have you been approached?
For what?
Purchase your company. Or make a sizable investment.
You know we can't comment.
But you know I have to ask you.
I respect your asking, but you know we can't comment.
We have to ask multiple times.
Yes.
Blink twice.
Okay, now that we got the obvious question out of
Look, the obvious answer is anything that comes our way, if it makes sense, we have an independent board. The board will look at it. At this stock price, we will turn it down. I can tell you that. There is not a chance we'd be leaving too much on the table. But when we're in the process of actually making deliveries
Sure.
on real orders that are backed with large deposits, and the stock is nowhere even remotely in this vicinity, we welcome anyone that has an interest. I'm not saying we would sell, but we're a public company and we have an independent board.
So you founded the company.
Yes.
Why are you doing it? Is it a passion project? Do you love boating?
I love boating. I'm an electrician by trade, and I was boating with Patrick, my partner, who's running the shop presently in Montreal, and love boating. I love speed, and I love challenges, and I love showing to people that sometimes there's something better. And now I found something that I was the underdog, and the fact that people were actually thought I was a bit crazy doing that. Now I'm getting the respect, and I'm getting more thumbs up, and I know there's a solution. I'm a boater, and I live in the water. So when it's time to refuel your jet ski or your boat, and you see that one drop of fuel in the water, it doesn't make any sense. And speaking of, I was able to sponsor myself, the city of Montreal, in 2017 with electric boats across my house on the river. Because I was having dinner outside on the balcony, we had a good time. Boats were passing by, the sun was crazy. Now they blocked that section. All the boat that can go to that marina has to be electric. That's priceless. So in the summertime, we see boats coming, it's all electric, and these are my boats. That's my paycheck.
You should also know Alex is one of those crazy guys that used to race boats at 180 miles an hour.
Yeah, so he likes a challenge. So if I just tell you, I just don't think your boat can go fast enough. You're just going to have to prove it to me.
This summer, Ozark will be over 100 miles per hour. The boat is almost completed. We're building it in Miami with Sean Torrente and the Hellcat guys.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, I want to.
Yes, you need to come to the Ozark
Sounds
August this summer. Boat will be over 100 miles per hour. No one did that in the world.
I want to talk about a couple finance matters. In your last quarter, you had around 11 million-ish in cash. You don't seem to burn a lot of money.
We don't.
We haven't seen the latest numbers. Is your cash balance still looking pretty good?
Cash balance, obviously we can't give you
Sure.
updated information. As of the last quarter, your numbers are spot on. Our burn is, we probably cover as I was mentioning to you before, close to 80% of our burn with our rental and boat building operations. All of the additional burn above that is essentially discretionary, and that mainly is to secure a supply chain, like the deal with
Okay,
Octillion.
that's a lot of cushion for
It is.
a micro-cap company.
It certainly is.
Government was helping me promoting my technology to third-party companies like the pontoons and the deal that we have, the Nest rig and testing we'll do with other third-party boats. Okay. The motor was actually help from the government. So I'm not using my cash to do that. I'm using it, but I'm getting tax credit and cash. It's check, actually it's not tax credit I'm getting. I'm getting real check from the government. And they were very helpful.
If
So
you're stock guys, I'm going to tell you something else about dilution. The fact that we're third-party manufacturing means we don't have to build an expensive plant, go into debt, we have none, and or issue additional equity to fund the negative cash flow.
And if I remember, you also have no warrant exposure and negligible options exposure.
That is correct.
So your fully diluted count is really low.
Our fully diluted is 10.1 million shares. We have 8.2 primary, and again, you can do the numbers for any number of outboard systems that you want to, whether it's 100 or 1,000 or even more than that. We are an incredibly highly leveraged company to getting an order, not leveraged in the conventional sense with debt, but the smallest of orders essentially will make us profitable, and 1,000, and it sounds like a lot, but it really isn't. We're dealing with very large OEMs that produce tens of thousands of boats per year. So again, we're not looking to conquer the world, we're just looking for that 1% or 1% market share. If you do those numbers, the results will be extremely leveraged in our favor.
So no debt, low burn, somewhere pushing 10-ish, 11-ish million in that neighborhood of cash. Do we need to worry about do you guys think about fundraising? We need to worry about secondaries? Are you pretty happy with your current position?
We're happy with our current position. Our cash burn is minimal. I would never say never just because I would never say never to anything, but we have no intention currently of issuing shares at this price.
Yeah, that's fantastic, guys. I really appreciate it.
it is what it is. Next thing
story.
is the pontoon. You need to try the pontoon. You're gonna like it.
We are getting ready to go try the boat. We're gonna have pictures. It's gonna be amazing.
Can I get
Thank
one?
you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, Mason, you got a
I was
question?
just going to ask one question on the motor. Sorry, I didn't.
No.
we
No,
started
no.
anything, But so whenever I think of electric vehicle, I think there's obviously the people that want to buy the EV for emissions, and then there's people for the quiet. There's also people for the speed advantage. What is that in comparison, horsepower-wise, to like a 200 Yamaha?
You're gonna notice that today, a boat, the pontoon that you're gonna be on was first rigged with an ice engine outboard, and it planes. So meaning that you're gonna start the boat full throttle, and it's gonna plane about in 18 or 17 seconds. Then it planes, and you could actually, if you're a water skier, so you're out of the water. The torque is amazing. So we have torque at 1 RPM up to 7,000 RPM. So the torque is amazing. We have Xavier, our CTO, is actually reducing the torque from the throttle because you could actually break the shoulders of a skier in the water. So it planes in 6 seconds, 5 seconds. It jumps on plane right away. You're gonna be 1,500 pounds of meat on that pontoon, and boom,
It's the same concept
that's
as
a car.
the cheapest Tesla can probably blow the doors off a Ferrari because of that instant acceleration. And again, electric vehicles are generally with the same equivalent horsepower faster than their ICE equivalents.
You're gonna still feel the wind in your face because it's the torque is quick, but the fact that there's no sound, it changed everything. It's like riding a motorcycle with a helmet and without a helmet. With a helmet, you're fearless, but without a helmet, ooh, it's fast. The sound factor, but you're gonna feel the wind today. You'll see.
Okay.
Yeah, you're gonna like it.
I'm gonna feel the wind through my hair.
Me too.
Appreciate the time very much, guys.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Enjoy.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for taking the time. I appreciate it.